Thank you very much. Come there. Good afternoon to all. We like to inform you before we speak that we are having this press conference out here because, like we announced to you a couple of days ago, that renovation work on the ministry was about to get started. We are out here because they have started the de-roofing of the building. The conference room is not conducive for to host our regular press briefing. And so we have to come here to continue to do the work on behalf of the government of Liberia. I just want to inform you so that there cannot be any speculation as to why we are out here. We are continuing pre-Independence Day activities, and His Excellency, the President, has been engaged with ordinary people for the last couple of days as we prepare to mark the 177 existence as an independent nation on the African continent. We'd like to emphasize that yesterday, Monday, the President, His Excellency, held dialogue with leaders of the Muslim community at the ministerial complex. Also on Sunday, the President held similar dialogue with leaders of the Christian community at the Peaceville Town Hall. Before that engagement, the President, accompanied by officials from the three branches of government, attended the National Thanksgiving and Intercessory service that were held at the Liberty Christian Center in Johnsonville. During the intercessory service, the President encouraged Liberians to remain strong in their faith and to continue to pray and to work towards the success of the nation. The President also delivered a similar message when he attended the Islamic prayer service on Friday at the mosque on 17th Street. The President re-echoed his message of peace and unity in his engagement yesterday with the Muslim community as well. On last Saturday, the President engaged with youth of Liberia. At the engagement with the youth, the President reiterated that Liberia's future solely depends on the competent actions of the young people. The President urged the youth in attendance to make productive use of their time, to be committed to the country, and to do their part to make the country better in the same way they admire other countries. On Friday, the 19th of July, the President received donations on behalf of the country, a consignment of 20 motor vehicles and 1,200 kVA generator for the Ramos International Airport. It is important to emphasize that one of the problems that we faced in the past was the terrible state of the Ramos International Airport, the only international airport we have as a country. Sometimes aircraft arrive in the country, we have to detour because there's no electricity at the airport. The radio system will be down. It was causing a lot of embarrassment for our image as a country. And so, as a result of the president's determination to address some of these perennial problems that continue to paint a blurred picture of Liberia's image on the international scene, the president has reached out to friends in the international community. He has explained the problem we face. He made a very convincing case for Liberia. And as a result of the president's engagement, you now have 3 giant-sized 1,200 kVA generators mounted at the Lagos International Airport. Those generators, those machines, like the earth-moving equipment, will address the electricity problem on the airport. Delta Airlines, the Turkish Airways, other international airlines have to cancel flights to Liberia because of the terrible state of our airports. The president intends to fix it, and it's part of the problem that we came to rescue for. And so we commend the president for his engagement that has begun to yield fruitful results on behalf of the country. One agency that was also challenged in time past is the Liberia National Police. When crime is committed, they cannot respond to crime scene because of logistical problem. I'm told before the election, the entire anti-robbery unit of the police had only one vehicle. So if armed robbery, for example, was taking place at 2 different places, they couldn't respond to the crime scene. Today, the police is blessed to receive 20 additional vehicles. And I'm told this is just part of, it's just the token of a huge number that is expected to arrive to the country. So the police will be equipped. More often we experience accidents on major highways. People are driving without observing the rules of driving. The police will use this vehicle to do routine high road patrol from Monrovia to Buchanan, from Monrovia to Ganta, from Monrovia to Banga, from Monrovia to Magiri. You will have routine highway patrol placed at those corridors to monitor traffic regulation. Whether the driver is driving drunk, whether the driver is in a very state of mind, whether he's over speeding, the police will now be able to be at various places at the same time. It's called police within present. It also helps to deter crime. And I thought to emphasize that because of all the donations the president has made, these are 2 key areas that have been very challenged. And I will commend the president for that step. The donation, it is important to be stated, were made by Ghanaian businessman and a friend to the president, Ibrahim Mahama. Mr. Mahama is a brother of former Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama. He proudly calls himself a Liberian who loves Liberia. And he is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana-based Engineers and Planner Limited. President Boakai also on yesterday delivered keynote address at the opening of the high-level ministerial meeting of the Maham River Union. The meeting, which had been taking place in Monrovia from Sunday to yesterday, Monday, brought together finance ministers, foreign ministers, and defense ministers of the member states. The Maham River Union is a political and economic union of 4 states bordering the Maham River: Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and La Côte d'Ivoire. It is an honor for our country to host such a high-level dignitaries from our sisterly countries. Their presence in Liberia signifies exactly what the President has said consistently, that Liberia is a country of enormous potential, and we are safe and open for business. To partners with our counterparts in the sub-region and pursue issues of mutual economic, political, and security interests. In his address, the President urged the visiting ministers to be far-sighted and open with each other. The President indicated that we know our development challenges and the growing political and economic issues we face. Your kind of suggestion will help us chart the new development course to fulfill our objective through the Secretariat. President Boakai emphasized the need for member states to demonstrate more commitment to the Union and uphold the commitment of the Summit of Heads of State and Government of the MRU held in May 2008, which resolved the MRU Secretariat be revived to pursue the mandate of the MRU. Distinguished members of the press, before I take my seat and entertain many remarks from the minister, I would like to, on behalf of the government of Liberia, state that we are saddened by the sudden passing on Sunday of Mr. Julian Mole Kezulu, formerly of Fabric Radio, the Spoon Network, and until his demise, Crown FM. Mr. Kezulu was a multi-talented media personality who was very positive about the country, passionate about his job, and was very conscious of his responsibility to his leadership. Mr. Kezulu never compromised the truth. He was conscious of reporting the facts and pursuing every single angle of the story. Mr. Kezulu was one of few Liberian media personalities who could play all roles on air. Continuity announcement, disc jokering, newscasting, radio program presentation, among others. We joined the Kezulu family and the entire media landscape of the country to mourn this very painful loss. Mr. Kezulu will be sorely missed. To the family, we say take heart and be strong. On that note, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I will now stand on existing protocols to invite to the podium the official spokesperson of the Liberian government, Honorable Jerolinmek M. Piah.
Thank you, Mr. Sano. Please join me in observing a minute, in a movement of silence for the death of children. May the soul and the souls of all the faithful departed, the mercy of God, rest in peace. As a government, we do not intend to be in conflict with any sector of the society, not to include the church. We believe the church is a critical voice. The church should always speak up on issues of concern
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Focus on Liberia, and we are at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, where today the Ministry of the Minister is addressing the press, the regular press briefing. And my name is Gwendolyn Dorado. Wherever you're watching me from, I say I welcome you to this live broadcast. Keep tuned. We have a technical problem and we are awaiting for the situation to be solved and so the president to move on. Not the president, but the Minister of Information to move on with trending issues of Liberia. Once again, my name is Gwendolyn Dorado. I welcome you to the live broadcast.
So I wouldn't waste your time. I will speak before waiting for them. And just a brief point that I wanted to make. You can come closer if you wish, so you can hear me well. Thank you. Bring your stuff. So I was saying we want to be a government that is open and that is working well with everybody, and the church is included. And we want to keep hearing the voice of the church on very critical national issues. We don't want the church to be silent. Even though in the last 6 years, from all indications, everybody else in the society was silent. They were quiet. They didn't see anything wrong. Everything was okay. Some people from the very setting of the church would tell people, if you criticize the government, something will happen to you. We didn't hear them speak out. Most recently, it was established that one of the leaders of the church, irrespective of what position he was in, duped poor Liberians of hundreds of thousands of dollars in the name of helping them with visa to go some places somewhere. I'm still waiting. I didn't hear the church talk about that. But it's good that they want to be focused on national issues. But the only thing we ask of them is to come with some level of fairness. Each of you here, if you went to your house and you realize that your neighbor is beating your child because your child has done something, if you only get angry because the neighbor is beating your child, but care less about why the child is being beaten, then something is wrong. At the Independence celebration, a number of activities were listed, especially at the Thanksgiving and intercessory service. One of the activities that were listed was for us to be welcomed, which is normal. Somebody go to your house, you welcome them. I guess the Thanksgiving service was organized under the auspices of the Liberia Council of Churches. So after the head pastor of the church was called to welcome us, perhaps they thought there was another need to have another welcoming comment, this time from the Council of Churches. And instead of just welcoming us to celebrate our independence, the platform was seen as an opportunity to raise issues about quote-unquote RIA, this place and that place. in the voice of the person who spoke on behalf of the Council of Churches, the former president was coming to the country and the government deployed security just because the former president was coming. That's unacceptable. That has no space in our society. But then there was a complete silence on what happened at the airport. And I thought that was unfair and would not allow it to rest. First of all, the government did not deploy the AFL because former President Piah was coming. We need to get that clear. No AFL was deployed because former President Piah was coming. The small unit of the AFL troops that you saw, they've been deployed there, I guess, under the administration of President Piah. They deployed them there. When we had all the challenges about drugs and other substances coming into the country, they deployed them there at the point of exit. So they've been there. They went at the point of entry because there was an imminent threat to the airport. There were angry crowd roaming about the entryway to the airport, demanding access to the terminal, and that if they did not have access, they would do this, they would burn the place, they would do this one, they would do that one. The police unit responsible for ensuring that the place was safe was overwhelmed. So for the armed forces small unit that was already deployed at the airport to assist the police in preventing the airport terminal from being invaded was an action that protected our country. The airport has regulations, not tied domestically. Regulations that got international implications. And if those regulations are breached, the airport could be banned. And traveling could be a problem for our people. Many things happened at the airport that day, as I indicated in the last press conference. There were officials who walk on the tarmac. Nobody does that. It's unacceptable. When you reach the airport, only travelers with valid passport and tickets enter the terminal of the airport. You had a situation where people were trying to force themselves into the terminal. So rather than focusing on holistically what happened, to also condemn the fact that there were people who were threatening to enter the terminal, and if they were not allowed to enter, they were burning. Rather than focusing also on the fact that people who were not authorized to be on the tarmac walk on the tarmac, you give blind eyes to all of that. And all you talk about is the presence of armed army officers. This government did not deploy the army officers at the airport. They've been there. It's a station unit. If they see threat, they have an obligation to help to prevent the threat. And if that does not concern you, and the only thing that you care about is army was deployed because of President, we have been going in and out of the country. Have you seen army people getting involved in his